We had a beautiful transition actually from Douglas's presentation to our last presenter, Dr. Fatima Diaw-Sow, who is the Commissioner for Social Affairs and Gender in ECOWAS. And we would like to hear from her what is the Commission of ECOWAS and its member state together, what are they going to do to address vulnerability, in particular, because it's part of your results, Madam Commissioner, vulnerability among mothers and infants, the gender aspects of that. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Last but not the least, and it's a great pleasure for me to join all of you at this important conference to discuss and evaluate existing emerging priorities pertaining to food and nutrition security in Africa. In recent years, like you all know, Africa, and particularly the Sahel region, has suffered from harsh drought that has an impact on water supply, severely affecting agriculture, livestock, and leading to high level of poverty, insecurity, and instability. I will not go to all the diagnostics that has been given through the different panels, but I would like to say that the resilience-based approach makes it possible to tackle the various environmental and social disasters and to sustainably restore homes and vulnerable communities on the path to normalcy while improving upon living conditions for future generations. As a result, the strategies for the reduction of vulnerability constitute today means of building resilience. An adequate measure must therefore be adopted to prevent and reduce effect due to all kinds of factors of risk of insecurity or threat at the economic as well as at the social level. Permit me at this time to focus our attention and also my presentation on why are women critical to building resilience to food and nutrition security. African women are predominantly employed in the agricultural sector. They account for 60% to 8% of the agricultural labor force and are responsible for 70% to 8% of food production in Africa. And actually, empirical research in 5 countries suggests that agricultural productivity could increase up to 20% if women's access to scarce resources as land, seed, and fertilizer were equal to men's. At the same time, they are mostly involved in the informal sector, which is also a condition for food security and nutrition for most of them at the household level. Consequently, economic activity by most women is traditionally confined to subsistence activity in the non-formal sector. Effectively, half of the potential labor supply force has been marginalized and disadvantaged. This had a debilitating impact on the prospects for poverty reduction, improved living standard, and sustained economic development. Thus, effort aimed at building resilience, of course, for food and nutrition security, must take recognition of the concern of women and maximize the opportunities for promoting women's economic empowerment. Now let me talk about what ECOWAS is facing as challenges for resilience, for food and security nutrition, and we have at this point focused our attention on several policies that are being implemented actually. We have the agricultural policy through ECOWAP. Our commissioner has talked a bit on that. We have the disaster risk reduction policy, which is under my department. We have the environmental policy, the employment and work policy that we have implemented. We have also the humanitarian policy and the gender policy. And the following key point can be considered from my point of view. The economic disaster risk reduction policy, which is highly related to resilience. The social protection program, which is also another important point of consideration. And we have also the ECOWAS agricultural policy that I talk about, because this is very gender sensitive point in my point of view. For the first point, the ECOWAS disaster risk reduction policy and action plan, ECOWAS has adopted this policy in 2008 on light of the following major points developed in the action plan. Because when we develop a policy, we have parallelly an action plan which is also implemented in the department. And this action plan focuses actually in set disaster risk reduction, and institutional development a top priority in the different 16 countries. We have also developed and enhanced risk evaluation and early warning methods supported by the European Union donor. And we have, we did a lot of works on that in the Mali crisis, the two last years. We have promoted awareness and innovation in the bid to reduce risk disaster in many countries like Guinea-Bissau, Mali, Sierra Leone, for some example. We have also worked on reduced risk development factors like institutional factors, technical, or political, or also geographical. As you know, we face many problems like inundation or drought, or also some related also to man-made, like the conflict and so on. And also, in this point of disaster risk reduction, we have enhanced preparation and response measure, because actually, ECOWAS has action and has implemented the emergency risk reduction team in ECOWAS, which is working with many countries and which also involve many countries in West Africa who are working. We work in Mali to support the problems that have emerged from the conflict in 2012 and 2013. The second point is the social protection program, which is defined as a measure being taken towards protecting the members of a society against all economic and social hardship likely to be sparked off by a lack of income or a marked dropping income level. And following on from the principle that persons with access to basic goods, services, and funds can rise above poverty or uncertainty and can participate more productively in saving, ECOWAS has, in this point, among state members, implement the use of social protection in combating poverty or building resilience through a gradual extension of the social insurance system to the people of the community. It will, in the long run, include guaranteeing, of course, availability and sustained access to essential services, social services such as education, professional training, health, food security, drinking water and sanitation, housing, employment services, and so on. But also a sum of essential social transfer in cash or in kind for the benefit of the poor and vulnerable to provide a minimum income for them, means of decent livelihood, and means of affording basic services and skills. In that regard, a Nivonville social protection plan must be set up. In any program of the Sahel, if you really want to come up to find solutions for resilience, we have to integrate the social protection issues, because it's cross-cutting, but also it's mean of well-being. Owing to the cross-cutting nature of social protection, like I said, it will be wishful thinking to hope that the efficacy of measures being deployed to build resilience for food and nutrition security are mainly based on an inclusive coordination of policies and institutions responsible for social protection to ensure a much greater effectiveness and efficiency. And last, my third point will be the ECOWAS agricultural policy, which is also related to the resilience because it has a gender-sensitive approach. The ECOWAS identified and appreciates the key role of women in agriculture, particularly in production, processing, and marketing of products. The following issues to be of prime importance for improving women's role in agriculture. First, accessibility to credit and land ownership still remain major challenges to women. Increase women's skills in all the aspects of the food crop value chain, including rearing small animal and poultry, semi-industrial fishing, as well as in processing of meat and livestock products. And third, the improvement in irrigation and agricultural infrastructure for farmers, especially women farmers, is also emphasized. The ECOWAS Commission, and this is my word of concluding, through my department, or also the other departments which are also transversal, like agricultural and peace and security, in conjunction with appropriate institutions, undertakes to develop sub-programs and to improve them. Of all the key components that I already talked about, of the policies enumerated above, in order to build resilience and reduce vulnerability of malnutrition, and build also synergy in order to enhance food security and nutrition for the community. I hope that this conference will come up with key recommendations for our sub-region in accordance of our vision and strategy. Maybe with some of your questions, I can go more in detail on what we are practically doing actually. Thank you very much.